Welcome back to the Therapy by Craft podcast. My name is Eunice Kim. I am the host and maker behind Therapy by Craft. Oh, it is a gloomy and rainy morning here in Southern California. I love it so much. I actually really like rainy, gloomy weather. Like, that's my jam. I know I live in SoCal, so, you know, the saying is that, like, oh, it's like super sunny in Southern California. Yeah, I think the sun is kind of annoying sometimes. It just doesn't match the melancholy that lives inside of me. I don't know if that makes sense. But, like, I see the sun, it's super sunshiny, and I'm like, ugh, go away, sun. You're annoying. Like, you're too bright and sunny and warm. Like, ugh, who wants that? I want, like, cold and dreary and wet. It is March 21st, like, early morning. A lot of people have been getting sick, so I hope that as we transition into spring, you guys are staying healthy and allergies aren't kicking in too bad. I don't know. Anyway, we have a lot to go over today, and I'm super, super excited about it. I have just a couple of finished objects to share with you guys, and then a whole bunch of whips, including what may be the perfect baby blanket. I may have found like a hack, you guys. Like, I might have found a cheat code for blankets. So I'm really excited to share that with you. I also cast on my first spring project, which I was a lot more excited about when I initially cast it on, but now my motivation is dwindling a bit. So yeah, we'll get to that. And then I also have quite a bit of acquisitions, which isn't normally the case. Oh, but who am I kidding? Maybe, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Anywho, let's get started. Giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. The first finished object I want to share is what I am wearing. Well, actually, I'm wearing my Stockholm sweater today to keep me nice and cozy. But on top of that, I'm wearing my Vertices Unite shawl. Yay! Oh, it's inside out. Oh, this is the wrong side. Let me show you the right side. Can you see that? Okay, whatever. It's not great. I'll have to just do a B-roll later. But this is the Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West. It might be my perfect shawl. Yeah, so I'm not really a shawl knitter. I'm really not. But I think that this pattern may have solved the biggest problem for me, which is that I find shawls to be really boring. Most shawls are knit left to right or right to left, like side to side, or it's knit like vertically, either top to bottom or bottom to top. But this shawl is knit in modules. It's a modular construction. So basically, there's like all of the, like, you start in one section and it's a small piece that you work. Then you do garter stitch, garter stitch, garter stitch, and then you stop. And then you do the next part. And the next part is a different kind of shape. And then you do garter stitch, garter stitch, garter stitch, and then you stop. And then you either pick up stitches or you join as you go and you do another section. And so literally you're doing the shawl piece by piece. And at the end of the shawl, or at the end of the pattern, you have this one piece of fabric, and in this case it is a asymmetrical piece of fabric that has pieced together all of its little parts. It's so much more fun that way. Like, it holds my attention much more. I've tried making shawls before. I see a picture of a shawl and I'm like, oh, that's really beautiful. I would love to own one of those. But then I get started and I'm like, oh my God, it's the same thing again. Like 400 stitches of this one thing for the umpteenth time. I can't enjoy that process very much. No shade to those of you guys who find it really meditative, but I do not. It's like yoga. A lot of people find yoga to be meditative and very calming. I'm the kid that's like trying to do yoga and I'm pissed. I'm like holding a stance and all I can think about is how much pain I'm in, how uncomfortable I'm in, and like there's sweat dripping down my face and I'm like, I'm super I'm an angry yoga-er. I hate yoga. But how did we get to that? I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yes, shawls. I know that people find shawls to be really comforting. I am not one of those. And so this was the perfect entry shawl, if you will. Who knows? Maybe after having this product, which I am very much enjoying, maybe I will want to knit a shawl and stick it through and find some endurance or find some maturity within myself and patience within myself to, you know, keep at it. But anyway, I think it's the combination of, one, that it's modular, two, that it's garter stitch, which like results in this very squishy fabric. And also that, again, the end product, I had seen enough of the Vertices Unite shawls that I was quite motivated to keep going. I really like my color combination. Yeah, there's just a lot of beautiful ones out there, so I'm very, very happy with it. What else to say about this? Oh, the edge is an I-cord edge, which gives it a very nice, clean finish at the end. I don't know if you can see it. And a tip for those of you guys who may be interested in this pattern, when you do the I-cord edging, do it really loosely. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with I-cord bind-offs. I think they're beautiful, and so in that way, I really like it a lot. But I have a hard time with tension. Sometimes I make it too tight, and then it like messes up my garment and cinches it in where I don't want it to cinch in. Sometimes it's too loose, and then it doesn't look as finished as I hope it would. But for this, since it's a shawl, I thought, you know what? Even if it's really loose, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna have it wrapped around me anyway, and I think it was a good choice. So if you guys do end up making the Vertices Unite shawl, and if you have a bit of tension troubles with the I-cord bind-off like I do, then just do it really loosely. That would be my tip. Because after it blocked, it bloomed quite a bit, like it grew quite a bit, also because it's garter. And I think it helped a lot that, you know, my I-cord wasn't too tight. Oh, the other thing is, if I were to make this again, I think I would incorporate some German short rows instead of just knitting to a certain number and then turning the work. I looked at the pattern again and again, and I was like, Steven, do you want me to do a kind of twist and turn or a German short row of sorts? But there's nothing indicated in the pattern for how to make the short rows more seamless. Let me show you what I mean. Can you guys see this? It's like little steps. And I don't really like that. I don't know. Is it a look? I don't know. But I just don't think it's very clean. I wish I had gone and done a wrap and turn or a short row instead to pull up the stitches so that's a little more seamless. Especially on the stripes, you can tell like very much in this section in particular that it's yeah, that I just stopped at the row and then turned around and then just knit, and so they left a bit of a hole. Again, I don't know if Steven intended for that to happen, I don't know, but that is a modification that I would make if I were to go back and knit it again. So yeah. What else? Oh, one thing I really did like about this pattern though is that even though there are stripes, there's not a million ends. You only do 2 rows of one color at a time. So you start on one end, you add a color, you go boop, boop, and then you're back at the end with all of the edges. And you pick up the next color and you go boop, boop, and then you pick up the other color and you go boop, boop. So like you don't have to like have all these ends. You can just carry the colors up with you. And because of this I-cord edging, it leaves a really nice clean finish, which again is just really great. The less ends there are to weave in, the better, right? I mean, I don't know anybody who is thrilled at the idea of millions and millions of ends. So yeah, for all of the reasons that I just mentioned, I'm very happy with the shawl. I am almost tempted to cast on another one, but I am going to refrain. But I did cast on another garter stitch modular pattern because I enjoyed the process so much. But I will share that in a little bit. Okay, the next finished object, and really my only other finished object, is my Fluffiest vest. This is by Hannah G Knits. And isn't it so cute? What to say about this? This was supposed to be like a scrap busting project for me, but it took such little yarn. Like, I have so much of this yarn left. So I don't know, I could probably make like 2 more of these vests. The yarn that I used here is Katia's Concept Pluma yarn in Serpentine. And it is, I think it's like a DK worsted weight, but it's like a floofy yarn. So it's very, there you go. It's like really floofy. Let me see. Oh, there we go. I think it can go anywhere from like sport weight all the way to DK worsted. But it's a cotton yarn. And as I mentioned before, it hurt my wrists a little bit. And I have like 2.5 more balls of this left. Oh man. The end result though is amazing. The product is great. It's just the process of knitting through it. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I end up doing with it. Some of the modifications that I made, the most obvious one is that the pattern calls for an I-cord bind off and I-cord edging all the way around, but I opted not to do that. I wanted to go for, you know, a little bit more of a preppy look, so I ended up doing ribbed edging instead, and I like it. I liked how it turned out. Something that I didn't consider though is that the neckline is actually a V-neck. And I didn't take that into consideration when I was doing the ribbing. I am not a designer by any means. I also didn't know how to make sure, like I didn't know how to make it so that the button band would be flat. I knew because it was a V-neck, I needed to do some decreases so that it doesn't like flare out. So I needed to cinch it in a little bit on the collar so that the vertical button band would be straight and not like flared. So I did some decreases, but it's not the cleanest. Can you guys see that? I did some decreases there, but again, it's not the neatest decrease. It's fine, it's functional, but maybe I should have just done it the way that Hannah said to do it and just do the I-cord. I don't know. There is a bit of a story behind the buttons of this vest. I went to Stitches SoCal last year, and there was this booth that had like incredible buttons. Like they're super cute. They had a bunch, and I think they were just selling them on sale. Yeah, and so I got a bunch. I pulled them out with this project because I thought it'd be the perfect chance to use up buttons in my stash. Well, all of the buttons were, I don't know, like they kind of clashed with this like olivey green color. And I wanted to give my daughter some ownership of this vest and give her a choice. But the button that she chose initially, I just couldn't wrap my head around. This is the one that she had picked. It is adorable. It is a little flower with rainbow. It's a little rainbow flower. But I put it up against the vest. And y'all, it didn't look very good. It just clashed with the vest. And I was like, oh, I can't do it. She was super excited about it. I think it was on a weekend. Yeah, I think it was on a Saturday that I had pulled out all my buttons. I said, hey, Sam, which one do you want for your vest? And this is the one that she picked, this little rainbow flower one. And I was like, are you sure? We like laid it on the vest. I was like, is this the one that you really want? And she was like, yeah, that's the one I want. It's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, it's really pretty. I really want this one. I said, okay. And I put her down for her nap. And while she was napping, I looked at the vest and the button and I was like, okay, I'm going to sew these on. And I couldn't do it, you guys. I love the button. I think it's super cute, but just not for this vest. I want to save it for something else. So I did a thing and I just said, you know what? I'm going to do her second choice, which was these little blue cars. And if she notices and if she gives me a hard time about it and is like, Mom, you're really cramping my creative style here, then I'll go back and remove the blue buttons and put on the flower rainbow buttons. And when she woke up, I said, hey, da 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 da, I'm done with your vest. And she was like, oh, I wanted the rainbow flower buttons. I was 90% sure she wasn't even going to notice, but she absolutely noticed. Yeah. But she looked at it and she goes, oh, it looks okay. And I asked her, I was like, do you really want the flower buttons or is the car one okay? And she's like, no, the car one's okay. And what she was most excited about was to like put it on and weave the little cars into the buttonholes. And I think she had a bit of fun with that, like imagining that the car was going through the buttonholes. So I was like, okay. She is enjoying it. She does like it. So we're going to keep it. And it was great. It was perfect in time for St. Patrick's Day. Did she wear this on St. Patrick's Day? No, maybe not on the day, but she definitely wore it that week. And she just looked like a little child professor. It was really cute. And I'm very, very happy with it. If you guys don't know about the pattern, it's from the Fluffiest set. So Hannah has a vest version and a cardigan version in one pattern. So you kind of get, you know, 2 in 1. And it goes all the way up to like 10 years old, I think. From newborn all the way to like 10 years. So I have no doubt that I will be making more of these and maybe even a cardigan version with 1,000,000 grams of leftovers that I have of this yarn still. 2.5 more balls of this, you guys. Ugh. Anyway, yes. So that's the Fluffiest vest. Now whips. Let's talk about whips. You give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of bird. I have 4 whips that I want to share with you. There's more I have going on, but these are the 4 that I have been actively working on since the last time we spoke. So I will start with, my Skift sweater. Look how far I got, you guys. Can you see that? The body is done and I'm working on a sleeve. I'm very, very happy with it. This was my first time doing three color stranded work. 3 colors of stranded color work. I love it. It's not the best tension, I'll be very honest with you. It's the yoke is pretty like wobbly, but I don't mind. And for the first time, I think it's pretty darn good. I steam blocked it a little bit because I was nervous that it wasn't going to lay flat, but when I steamed it, it worked out. I'll show you guys my floats on the inside. It's okay. It's not that pretty, but I don't really know. I mean, no one's going to see that side. The thing that I was most nervous about was the collar and the neckline because that's where I did the majority of my modifications. I cast on for 2 sizes smaller than the actual size that I'm working. I didn't want like her shirt underneath to show, and previously when I had made it, the neck was kind of fiddly. I think it's because I was using cotton yarn, but also I think it was just a little wide. When I looked at some of the other people's like projects and stuff, I noticed that, oh, it's a little wide and the shirt underneath peeks out a little bit, and I don't like that. too much. So I made that modification to the collar. I made it also a little taller. I think the pattern calls for like a certain number of centimeters, like maybe 1.5 or something like that, but I made it to be 4 centimeters. And then I also added German short rows. I don't know if you can tell, but the color work in the front starts here, but if you look at the back, there's about 1 inch or so of the short rows. And that's so that she can have a little more comfort when she's wearing it. Like it won't like come up and choke her. But when she tried it on, it was perfect. I can't tell you how satisfied I was seeing that it worked. Like my modifications worked, and I was so pleased, so pleased. And she seemed to like it too. I mean, I think she was more thrilled about the vest than when she put on the sweater. But when she put it on, she was like, oh, wow. And I think this might be a good Easter sweater for her. Yeah, Easter's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's been cold enough to wear sweaters. So yeah, I think it'll be cute. I just have the sleeves left to go, so I'm hopeful that I'll be able to finish it in this next week or so. And hopefully by the next time I see you guys, this will be done. Next is, oh yes, my Cambys sweater. This is the sweater by Orlane Sucche. I don't know how to say her last name. But yes, it's the Cambys sweater. And I was very much inspired by Hannah G. Knits and the Cambys sweater that she made. She made hers out of Mondim, I think, in a sport weight, and it was really beautiful. And I know I shared that before, so I won't gush about it again. But because of her, I cast on a Cambys sweater as well. And this is how far I've gotten. Not very far. But I did do the short rows and joined in the front, and it's coming together. Can you tell? Yeah, there it is. It's like almost exactly the same color as what I'm wearing now, but never mind that. It has been really fun, but it's also been very slow. It's all over cables. And the pattern has both charted instructions and written instruction. So for those of you guys who prefer one over the other, there are both options for you. And I've decided that this is going to just be a process knit for me. I'm okay with that. The yarn is beautifully sticky and soft still. I think there's still a bit of spinning oil in here. Oh, what is the yarn? This is a yarn. It's the one that was gifted to me from my friend Samantha at A Needle and Yarn Co. It's Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino in the color Acorn. It's a really nice non-superwash yarn that is actually, that I think will be next to Skin Soft. I have a feeling it's going to block and bloom beautifully. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how it blocks out. But yes, I am trying to be very mindful and conscientious about what it is to work cables as I'm doing this project. I've done cable work before, but I haven't really sat to think about what it is that you're doing when you're doing cable work. And this project, I think, is teaching me a lot about like rearranging the stitches, like bringing stitches to the front versus bringing stitches to the back, like how it kind of translates into the movement of the pattern. And yeah, I'm not articulating this very well, but it's been really enjoyable to be conscientious and thoughtful about how the stitches are moving. So yeah, even though what I have to show for it is a little small, I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm not going to give myself a hard deadline on this. I was hoping I would be able to wear it for the colder months that we still have, but it might just be a project that I keep chipping away at until the fall of this year. And if I can wear it, you know, come, I don't know, November, December of this year, I think I'd be okay with it. It's just beautiful. I think, yeah, I think I'm enjoying the process quite a bit. But okay, that's my Cambys sweater. Oh, and look at these adorable stitch or needle stoppers. They're little sheep or little rams. And I got it as a gift from a friend, Evelyn, at Vertices Yarns at my local yarn shop. She's a lovely lady that I met there and befriended, and she gave me little needle stoppers for Christmas. It's so cute. Anywho, okay. The next two are the ones that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys. I'll start with my spring cast on. I have cast on the Chaika top by Midori Hirose. And this is my first spring cast on of the year. And again, this like yellow mustardy color. Can you tell I have a favorite color? Because of the recent acquisitions I've had, I've been looking for a t-shirt pattern or like a shirt pattern that has more open gauge. I got the bug from when I knit the lento. The lento is knit with one strand of fingering and one strand of like a mohair or a suri, and it has this very beautiful open gauge, which even though it has some structure because of the mohair, I don't know, like there's something about that was really interesting and intriguing to me. So I was looking through for patterns where I could do something similar, where I could either hold like a fingering weight double or, I don't know, in a looser gauge to achieve this like drapey fabric that would be great for spring and summer, especially since, like I mentioned before, my wrists are not happy with using like cotton yarns. So I thought maybe I could use a wool or like a linen silk blend and still achieve a fabric for warmer weather by doing a more airy drape. Anyway, then I came across this. Midori, so Midori Hirose, I think is how you say her name, but she is the designer behind the ranunculus, which everybody and their moms have made. That is also a pattern where you use a finer lightweight yarn on a larger needle to achieve a very drapey fabric. And so that same designer is the designer who created this pattern. And after I saw it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I love it's a rounded neck, but it's this very thick collar. I just thought it was so striking. I thought it was really beautiful. I actually have them on some try-on tubes right now, so let me put it on for you. Okay, here we go. Can you see this? Let me... Ta-da! Look! This is... what yarn did I use? I used... The white here is from Manos del Uruguay. It's Fino, which is their, it's a fingering weight, I think. And it's extra fine merino and silk in the color Ivory Letter Opener. Yeah, so it's 70% merino and 30% silk. I held it double to work the collar. Oh, and it's nice and cool. I really like it. The yellowy color that I'm using is from Midknit Cravings Yarn Company. It is their light linen merino base. It's 90% superwash merino and 10% linen. And I think it's actually a sport weight. So this yellow one is not fingering weight, it's sport. And I'm holding that double as well. And it's actually very nice to work with. I am using, I think, a US 10. So what is that? Is that a 6mm needle? And so it has this drapiness to it. There's a lot of gaps like between stitches, but it's still, you know, has enough coverage that I think I could just wear a camisole underneath and it'll be fine. I was really excited in the beginning. I flew through this, I think, in 2 days. But then I kind of ran into a snag. I'll show you what I mean. If I lift my arms, can you see this? How it like billows out like this? I don't love that. I wish there was a little bit of body shaping or like, I don't know. I wish it kind of cinched in a little bit. So I think I'm going to rip it out. I think I'm going to rip it back to maybe here. Can you see? Yeah, to like here, and then do some decreases for the body. This is how much of the yellow yarn I have left. I only had 2 skeins. It was from a D-stash that someone did a while back. And I loved the color. I wanted to work with this like a linen blend, and so I got it. It's also single ply. So it, yeah, the definition, it just is a really beautiful yarn to work with, but I only had 2 skeins. I know I'm gonna run out. So what I'm thinking I'll do is I'll rip back. I'll do some decreases so that I get a little bit more length in the body with the yarn that I have. And the pattern only calls for the contrast color to be up here in the collar. But what I think I'm gonna do is, since I have so much of this, the Fino yarn left over, I'll use this for the ribbing at the bottom. And I'll make the ribbing as wide or as thick as I need it to be to get enough coverage for me to be able to wear this to work. And I think it'll be okay because there's a thick collar like ribbing at the top. So then I'll just do a thick like ribbing at the bottom. Will it be pretty? I don't know. Will it detract from this beautiful color here? I don't know. I hope not, but I don't have enough yarn. So that's my solution, and we'll see how it goes. More details on any of the projects I'm talking about will be on Ravelry, so you guys can check that out if you're curious about my progress. Oh, I'll also put on here, if you want to know more like up-to-date information about what's been going on my needles, you can check out my Instagram. My Instagram is Therapybycraft, same handle, so you can check it out there. Anyway, I'm gonna change back. Hold on. And we're back. The last whip that I want to share with you guys is my blanket. Like I said, after doing the Vertices Unite shawl, I really wanted a squishy garter modular project again. Like, I needed another one on my needles ASAP, like stat. Megan from Kimchi & Co., she posted a picture of Purl Soho's amazing log cabin blanket. And when I saw that, y'all, like the heavens opened up and angels started singing. The pattern is a free pattern on this Purl Soho website, and I think it is to promote one of their newer yarn bases that they have, a fingering weight yarn base. And I was like, oh. So I made some changes. I took inspiration from the pattern and changed it up and decided to use my DK scraps instead. Here's what I got so far. Ta-da! Look! I'm so happy with what's happening here so far. Man, do you see this? So again, it's modular construction, meaning you do piece by piece, and it's joined or seamed as you go. So you're not seaming anything at the end. You start from down here, you do a certain number of cast-ons, and then you change colors every, I think it's like 20 rows or something like that. And because it's garter, the squish on this, like, it's so nice. Because the pattern is originally designed for fingering weight, I did like a small gauge swatch and decided that casting on about 96 stitches is gonna get me what I want. And I am very, very happy with it. So the pattern starts with a center section, and then you do a section on the right and left of it, and then you do top and bottom, and then right and left, and then top and bottom. Like, it kind of goes out that way. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is have a square, a side, and a top, and then a side and a top, and a side and a top. And I'm gonna, it's almost like when you select a picture on on your computer, and then you grab a corner of it and you zoom it out like that, and then it just goes zoop. I think that's what I'm gonna do with this blanket. And here's why I think it might be a life hack to do it that way. Because I don't want to make a big old blanket right this minute. I want to make a blanket that is a really good size for my toddler to take to school for her naps. So if it's too big, then it's not gonna I don't know, it's not going to function the way that I hope it would for her right now in her life. However, if it's too small, then it's not going to last her the many years that I hope this handmade blanket will last her. But here's the great thing about modular anything is that you can add to it later. So right now I have this section and this section, but once I'm done with this and I'm done with this, then I'll do a side panel on this side, and then that'll be it for now. And then later, when the blanket gets too small for her, then I will add more to the top, more to the side, and it'll grow. Like, I can make it grow. And I think that's gonna be, I don't know if my idea is gonna work, but I'm really excited about it. That way, I don't have to worry about the size of the blanket right now. I can just make it to the size that I need, and later I can pick up stitches and continue working and grow it in the size that I need it to be. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know if this is a novel idea, but it feels really novel to me. And so, yes, I'm very, 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 very excited about it. I can't tell you just how excited I am about it. I showed it to Samantha already, and she was already like laying on it and wanting to take a nap on it. So I think it's gonna be a huge success. I've been working on this pretty diligently because, again, something about the garter stitch has been really, really nice. And I was thinking about this as I was working on this blanket, which is that I wonder if garter stitch has a bad rep, or maybe in my head it had a bad rep because I associate garter stitch with beginner, like basic building blocks of knitting, because you only need to know how to knit. And the best way to get garter stitch is to like knit flat. And also, like I shared in my other video, garter stitch was how I learned to knit. So I associate garter stitch with just very, very beginner. And I don't give it the credit that it needs. Like, that's my bad. Garter stitch is amazing. It's squishy and it produces a fabric that, I don't know, it's a really great stitch pattern, and I am falling in love with it again. I get the appeal for the half and half triangles wrap. I don't know if I'm ready to tackle that project yet. I know there's like a cult following for the half and half triangles wrap, which is another Purl Soho pattern. But yeah, the garter stitch is a really forgiving stitch pattern. It's a very inclusive stitch pattern. Anybody on any level of knitting experience can do this blanket, actually, and they can produce an end product that is amazing. That's like really, really good. So yeah, I feel like I'm falling in love with the garter stitch all over again, and it's been very, 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 very enjoyable. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. Anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on how this goes. It's giving me so much joy. It's giving me so, so much joy. Okay. Acquisition. Oh, I have quite a bit. I've been trying to be better about not adding so much yarn to my stash, but maybe I just need to let that go. What I think is more important is that I acquire yarn either that I've been really wanting to use, or yarn that I know I'm going to like a lot. So I want to give myself the freedom to experiment a bit and the freedom to explore and try out different yarns from around the world that I'm interested in trying out. So for example, Well Loved Knits podcast is doing a make-along with Woolly Knits, and Woolly Knits is a yarn that I was first exposed to because of the Cravings podcast, and I know that Rebecca really loves the yarn and she talks about it a lot. She's collaborated with that company before, and what's really cool about Woolly Knits is that you can get yarn in cones. I don't know a lot of places here in the US where you can get wool in a cone, or that's not fair to say. The US is very, very big. Here in SoCal, where you can get wool in a cone. So when Well Loved Knits announced that there was a coupon code or a discount code for 20% off of an already discounted cone of yarn, I jumped on that. And here's what I got. In the British wool, I've got the Peapod and Codswald. Ugh. This is the two I got. And it got here so fast. I think I placed the order on March 17th and it got here yesterday, which is March 20th. Like 3 days. Is that right? Yeah, I think my invoice said paid for on March 17th and it got here yesterday. That's nuts. I'm very impressed by the speed of their delivery. But I got this, and the first thing I said to myself was, Eunice, this is exactly like the yarn you got from Purl Soho. Let me show you. These are my two colors from Woolly Knit. These are the colors that I got from Purl Soho's. It looks so similar. Clearly I have a type. I like yellow, I like green, and I like brown. Oh man, this is not a new acquisition, by the way. This is yarn I got last year, but I obviously haven't used it yet. And then I picked up these cones. Ugh. But you know, I mean, the feel is different. This is a sport weight, while this is a fingering weight. And I will get use out of it. I know I will. It's also 500 grams in this cone, or each of these cones have 500 grams in it. So there's quite a bit of yarn I could use. I am tempted, actually, to make a version of the half and half triangles wrap with these two colors. I don't know if I want to do a fingering version of it, like a fingering weight version of it, or if I want to do like what I did with the amazing log cabin blanket and double it up to do more like a DK weight version. But I don't know. I also want to do some like light sweaters. I feel like as I am venturing on in my knitting journey, I'm going into lighter weight yarns. So initially I did a lot of like Aran weight, chunky yarns. And then I did a lot of, like, I had like a DK season, and now I'm in this like sport weight, fingering weight season, and I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit. So I have no doubt that I would be able to use these two colors and use them together. I might make an Azor sweater with these two colors. I don't know. I don't know. But it just was so funny. I opened it up and I immediately thought, Eunice, you have this yarn already. You have these colors already. But these aren't the only ones I got. I also got black. I got two of these actually. And this is with some very clear intentions. I got two of these, so I have 1,000 grams worth of the Merino wool in black, and that's because I want a black sweater, like an everyday black sweater. I have a lot of like yellow and, you know, what colors do I have? They're mostly very colorful, but I want a simple black sweater, and I have been looking for black yarn that is in a wool quality that I would want to last for a long time. That's not too rustic, and it fit the bill. It was just perfect. So yeah, I have two of these, and I am determined to make a black sweater maybe before the end of the year. The sweater I have in mind at the moment is the Clove sweater by Rachel. I think it's like Rachel Knits Things or something like that. But I tested the Clove sweater for her. I made it in a black cotton yarn, and I really liked it, except that it was in cotton. So I think I need to make another black one, but in wool. So that's my plan. That's my plan for this. Next, I have some Sewrella yarn to show you. I was lucky enough to be able to sample knit for her, and as compensation, as a thank you from the Sewrella company, they gave me a voucher to be able to get some skeins of yarn from them, and I have been like eyeing their boucle base as well as some of their winter tonals. So that's what I snagged. This is the Cognac in their DK base. And the color is beautiful. It is so pretty. It's a little brown, a little orangey. Yeah, it's more beautiful in person. I continue to be amazed by how much more beautiful hand-dyed yarn looks in person than it does on a computer screen. Yeah, each time I like receive a hand-dyed yarn in the mail, I am like drooling every time. But anyway, so I have a sweater's quantity of this, and I'm not sure exactly what I want to make with it, but I do know that I love this color. I've been eyeing this color, and I am happy to promote this color because now I think Sewrella is doing seasonal tonals where it comes back every season. So every winter, this colorway will be available. Now she's doing the spring tonals, and you know, they're back from last year. And I don't know, I just think it's really great that there are yarns that are in a collection that's just, you know, you got to get it when you can. But then you also have these seasonal tonals where if you can't do it this year, you can always go back and look forward to getting it next year. And this was one of those that I have been eyeing for a while, and I'm really glad that the timing matched up so that I was able to snag some. And for the boucle base, I got Breckenridge. It is a more neutral, slightly variegated, but not too much. It's very squishy. I don't know if I'm really gonna love the boucle, like working with boucle. I'm a little nervous about it, if I'm being honest with you. But I know that the end result seems to be lovely. I don't know. I don't know if I would have spent my own money to buy this, but since it was like credited and I had an opportunity to get it, I thought, okay, I'm gonna get it. So anyway, these are the two yarns that I snagged from Sample Knitting for Sewrella. Thank you so much, Ashley and Abby and the team over there, the Yarn Fairies over there. I not only loved sample knitting for you guys, but I also appreciate the thank you gift that I was able to receive from that experience with you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet, but I'm really excited that they're in my stash, and I can look forward to doing something with it, even if I don't know what. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I feel like there was quite a bit going on, and I don't even know if I got to say everything that I wanted to say about each of these projects, but that's okay. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I have been doing weekly videos for the past 4 weeks, but I don't think that's sustainable anymore. So if you like the content that you see here, please subscribe and please hit the notification button, because I don't think I will be able to do these regularly scheduled videos anymore. Just long term, I don't think that this is sustainable for me. I have a full-time job, and I'm, you know, a mom to a toddler. So my energies are pulled every which way. And I want to do this for a while. I'm hoping that this will be something that I continue to do. And if I don't want to burn out, I got to pace myself. So yeah, all that to say, please subscribe and hit the like button, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much for joining me again. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much to everyone who's commented and engaged to my previous videos. I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.